Meet me in St. Louis. The Astros return to St. Louis to face the Redbirds, who are kind of wounded right now. And so maybe they take advantage of this 3-game series before heading to Arlington. Spencer Arrighetti, a hot arm, moves up from Corpus to Sugarland. We got this to talk about and other things on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and become an everydayer, somebody that listens to our podcast, every day, and go ahead and win or loss. It doesn't matter. Just go ahead and listen to us, subscribe to us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. Wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And we're going to go and look ahead at an old foe, the Cardinals. I can't remember the last time we actually played the Cardinals, but there's a lot of history between the Cardinals. A lot of it has to do with Jim Edmonds or like Albert Pujols, a lot of memories there. But definitely this is something that I've been kind of looking forward to all season. I know my aunt who used to live in Houston moved to St. Louis, and she's going to that game. So she's wearing an Astros hat and wearing a Cardinals jersey because she became a Cardinals fan up there. So she's repping both teams. But this will be an interesting series. We got Jose Abreu talking to his bat. What are we going to do with Rafael Montero? Drew Gilbert, what's going on? He was selected to join something for the All-Star game, so that's pretty cool. And maybe we'll get a chance to talk about this Dusty Baker and Chaz McCormick thing. And there's some other news and notes that we could talk about, like a certain pitcher got called up to AAA, and so that's a big that could have some ramifications down the road for the Houston Astros. But so let's go and get started with this, like Astros Cardinals. That was an old rivalry when the Astros were in National League.
Yeah, it was. And they were a formidable opponent. They had the run where they went to a couple World Series of their own. Our nemesis and David Eckstein, Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, the great just lineups, Chris Carpenter. You know, those teams, Eric. I remember when my favorite player as a kid growing up was Mark McGwire. I remember when he even went and played for the Cardinals. I would wear my Mark McGwire jersey whenever he was up to bat, and then I would take my Mark McGwire jersey off. And I would always want McGwire to go 4 for 4 with 3 home runs, but the Astros win like 9-4, right? Like I always wanted Mark to do something great against the Astros. But I remember watching them battle in the Dome. I remember watching them battle at Minute Maid. You and I were both at the infamous game, the shot heard around the world, Albert Pujols. I mean,
right.
The deafening silence was to this day still a memory that I feel like I could relive it. And for them to go into old Busch Stadium, and win the last game that was in Busch Stadium, that was phenomenal to see the Astros. You know, unfortunately went on to be swept in that World Series. But the moments were great while they lasted. We were division rivals with them when we got moved into the Central out of the West, and it was always us, and it was the Cardinals and the Cubs. But yeah, I kind of miss playing the Cardinals. You know, the Redbirds was always a fun rivalry because they always had really good teams, and you had a lot of respect for them, even though you didn't like them.
Right. And the Braves too. I mean, I know we've faced them in World Series, but that was there's some rivalries back in the day that you're like, yeah, I miss facing those teams. I miss facing the Braves a lot. I know we got to face them this year, and with this new kind of schedule, I think we're going to see a lot of the teams we used to face a lot, and I think that's going to do good for like teams across baseball, and especially Astros fans that get to see less of like playing like the A's and teams you don't really want to play, and you get to play more across some of the teams that are exciting. But that means you're going to be playing some of the better teams in baseball. Unfortunately, the Cardinals are not that this year. They're having a down year. A lot of people thought they would be pretty good. Right now, they're 32-45. They're fifth place in the NL Central. Right now, the Cincinnati Reds are 41-37 in first place, just a half game ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers. So this is a Central that's very winnable, but unfortunately, despite an offense that has Arenado and Goldschmidt and a whole bunch of young kids just try and find their way, they just can't seem to get the offense clicking, and their pitching has not been the same. They signed Wilson Contreras this offseason, and he's already been taken away as the everyday catcher. So he's more of a DH, and that's what the Astros were a little bit worried about. And so the pitching has not been what they thought it was going to be this year. And so they're just a team that's trying, like the Astros, trying to find an identity this year, because everything that they thought was going to go well for him has kind of not gone well. A little later on, we'll talk about this whole Rafael Montero, because the more and more this goes on, it's just going to, I feel like it's going to simmer. But the Astros are second place with a 42-36 record. They're 5.5 games behind the Rangers right now. It's like I said yesterday, it's still too soon to scoreboard watch, but you just got to keep on winning. Don't worry about what the Rangers do. You just got to win and keep on winning until you get back to the record that you think you should have. And the Angels are right behind the Astros. And I still think that the Mariners, they still have a run in them left.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Mariners, I guess that's yet to be seen. I'm really disappointed in the Mariners. I really thought that they were going to be up there with us. I really thought that if we were going to be down, that they would be the ones on top. The Rangers just have no quit in them right now. You hope that you can catch lightning in a bottle and win 2 of 3 when you get to Arlington, because they play really well at home. I still like our chances with our offense any day in Arlington. I think we hit well there. But look, this Cardinals team is down bad, like you said. I mean, they were a lot of people's pick for the Central Division, title. And with Lars Nootbaar and all these other guys, these younger players coming up, Gorman and all these other players, you just thought that they had the makings of a team to go make another run. And like you said, Wilson Contreras is the guy that so many people wanted the Astros to sign for, who they literally tried to sign or trade with, for Jose Urquidy, and they didn't end up getting him. It seems like the blessing's been in not getting him, because Yainer Diaz is turning out to be everything that people thought his upside was going to be, and so much more. And, Eric, at the end, when we get to the Baker McCormick thing in the last segment, I'm going to give you three people on the Astros staff, the Astros team, and you're going to have to keep one for 2 years, let one go at the end of the year, and DFA one of them. And in the third segment, I'll give you those 3 names, and I'll see what your answer is. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a bit that I heard from the Wheelhouse today on the radio. I just thought it was genius. I was like, I'm going to ask Eric that in the last segment tonight.
Okay.
So when we get there, I'll ask you before we close out the show. But do we want to get into Abreu right now?
No, we're still not done with the series talk yet. So,
okay.
If you look at MLB, they actually don't have the pitchers listed for the Cardinals, but I looked at ESPN. For some reason, they do. It's going to be Framber Valdez versus Jordan Montgomery in the first game. So 2 lefties. Framber Valdez is 7-5 with the 2.27 ERA, where Montgomery is 4-7 with 3.69 ERA. So I would think the matchup would favor Framber Valdez in that game. In game 2, it's going to be Christian Javier, who is 7-1 with the 3.25 ERA. He's going to be facing U.S. hero in the World Baseball Classic, not really, Miles Mikolas. who is 4-5 with a 4.23 ERA. In that game. So I think so far in those first two matchups, I think the Astros are likely to be favored in those two matchups. And in game 2, it's going to be the young kid, JP France versus Adam Wainwright, the grizzled veteran. So JP France is 2-3 with a 3.54 ERA, and then 3-2 with a 6.56 ERA is Adam Wainwright on the season. So he's probably near retirement. So he is what he is at this point. And so I think the Astros have the upper hand. The one thing that's a little bit concerning, I saw this stat, is that the Astros are 25-31 this season when they are considered the favorites, and they are 20-17 away, while the Cardinals are 14-22 at home, and the Cardinals are 20-11 when they're considered the underdog. So they have a little bit bark to them. So you got to watch out for those barkers.
That's interesting. So with us facing a left-hander supposedly for game 1, who has a better batting average versus left-handers, Eric, in the outfield, Chas McCormick or Jake Myers?
You're about to tell me.
It's Chas McCormick. Chas McCormick is hitting 292, 11 home runs, 36 RBI. Jake Myers, 261, 4 home runs, and 19 RBI. I really hope Dusty decides to put in Chas McCormick, because he would be the right part for the job. And this episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. The right parts, the right fit, the right prices. ebaymotors.com. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit, or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop at eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. That's right. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. And make sure that you check out the Astros game versus the Cardinals Tuesday night, 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
All right, so this is going to be a epic matchup, I believe. I think that we're going to see which Astros show up. I think that we've seen the offense kind of heat up in the Dodger series a little bit. Game 1, it was not there, but in game 2 and 3, we saw the offense heat up a little bit. And so I think that we're going to see a much better game. And a lot of it has to do with what Jose Abreu has done. And apparently he's taken a page out of Major League. I'm not talking about the league. I'm talking about the movie. And he's done a Pedro Serrano, and he started talking to his bat. And he said that he kept on talking to his bat in English and saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. But the bat wasn't responding. So now he's talking to the bat in Spanish because his bats don't speak English. So
interesting. Eric, that dude, look, I love it. And Jose Abreu, for what it's worth, and I believe that we've covered this properly. He's been working harder than anybody. Eric, I went and looked at his stats from last year compared to this year in June. Okay. Mm-hmm. June, he's getting better. He's not exactly where he was last June through 27 games. Now we're looking at 20 games. So we have -7 games, but his totals in June 2022, 346 batting average, 37 hits, 4 home runs, 15 RBI, 19 runs scored. That's 27 games total. But here's what I like. In June 2023, 284 batting average with 23 hits, 4 home runs, 16 RBI, and 7 runs scored. So the RBI and the home runs are the same, and he's played 7 less games. So I'm projecting out that Abreu is going to get at least 2 or 3 more home runs before the end of June, and his power numbers in June this year will be better than his power numbers last year. So I think that's a really good trend. And not only is that
That's a home run
trending,
every day, dude.
oh what? Oh, are we
Yeah.
it's a 26. Okay,
You heard it here on the Locked On Astros podcast.
No,
Brett
okay.
Chancey says that Jose Abreu is going to hit a
Hold
home
on.
run every day. It's a stone cold
No.
lock.
Yeah, thank you, Eric Betts Huysman. No, I was thinking 7 more games. Okay, obviously we don't have 7 more games in how many ever days we got in June, but let's just take the 27 games and let's see where he's
You got
at.
4
I think
days.
I'm going to go with 7 games on this because
Okay.
I want to project out the 27 games. But yeah, you're right. I was thinking we had a little bit longer in June. I don't like that the summer's going by so fast, but.
Yeah, I know.
Look, Abreu's exit velocity, Eric, and actually you need to maybe do some locked on voiceovers for like locked on bets or something. That'd be good. But his exit velo is up. I mean, he crushed that home run. You talked about it yesterday. It was a clutch home run. Without those 2 home runs by him and Pena, the Astros don't win that game. And so you'd love to see him contributing because it was plaguing no one more than him mentally, and you could tell it was taking a toll on him. So good for him.
Yeah, and that was his hardest hit of the season at 110.4 miles per hour. And so he's been doing a lot of that the past week or so. So they may not have been going for hits, but he's been making better contact. And if you look at his swing, it's more controlled. His legs are more not stationary, but they're not like going all over the place like they were at the beginning of the season. He's not falling all over the place, and he just looks more under control like the Jose Abreu we saw with the White Sox. So I think that he said he's been working on swing mechanics, more putting more weight on his back leg to enable him to stay on the behind the baseball. But there's something else he's trying as well. And it's just talking to his bat, just saying, come on, let's do this. Vámonos.
Hey,
Let's go.
Hey, whatever works, whether it's batting gloves or no batting gloves for Tucker, whether it's a mustache or not.
Right.
Look, players are superstitious, and hitting is contagious, Eric. The bottom line is and I really think he's getting going at the right time because Alvarez isn't in the lineup. So they don't have that guy to go to. If Abreu can kind of become that guy, even 60% of what Alvarez is, because he's not Alvarez, and Alvarez comes back, we know what Alvarez does when he comes back off of the IL. He just crushes. So imagine if he's full steam ahead, crushing the ball. You could have Abreu have almost an MVP like player of the month type month in July at the same time when you have Alvarez coming back. And this team could catch some magic and get hot at the right time. Remember, it's about October. It's about the long game. And so this is good because with Montero, it's not. And
that leads into my next point. And let's get this next point started with the Thoughts by Dusty.
Thoughts by Dusty.
Have you reevaluated how you use Rafael Montero? This is what he said. I've already reevaluated. The thing about it is, when am I supposed to use him? If not, you use up everybody else. And he's true. That's exactly right. I've been saying that for the past, 3 or 4 days. You're going to have to find, you only have 8 relievers that you can use at any time. And then he has no minor league options. We can kind of talk about some ways you can maybe get rid of him, but I just don't see 2 of them as really feasible. And it's just like if you can't hide him. Typically, if you're outscoring teams or you're losing by a lot of runs, you can hide somebody like Rafael Montero. And I guarantee the reason why that Baker brought Montero in with that 3-run lead is he's like, I've got to use him. Let me just go ahead and use it now. We have a 3-run lead. What's the worst that can happen? And of course, the worst happens. I know, but you've got to find a way to use it, or else you're going to blow out the arms of everybody else. And like you said, you're looking for October. And I'm not I'm not trying to defend Dusty Baker here because he's made some pretty interesting decisions. And if you're going to use Neris anyway, might as well have just brought him in that situation. But he also said Neris wasn't ready to, once Montero got in trouble, he said he was not ready. And this is what Baker said. And he said, he's been struggling. I know it. You know it. Everyone knows it. You have to take your shot in the sixth when you got 4 innings to do whatever mishaps that happens versus 7th or the 8th. You have to take your shot at some point in time. I don't think that was I don't think that was the last game, but that was just something he said earlier this week. You've got to give him a chance to fix himself. You can't hide him. Your offense is not giving you that luxury this year.
But in that situation, he has no business keeping Stanek in as long as he kept him in.
Right.
He, whenever you had an opportunity, whenever Freddie Freeman got that hit and they were doing the celebration, and basically people were like figuratively throwing flowers on the field for his 2000th hit, you had time. To me, you use Seth Martinez in that situation. Hector Neris pitched the day before, but he literally threw 2 pitches to 1 batter. That is not the same as going a full inning. Hector Neris is your best relief pitcher. The bottom line is this: until Montero can figure it out mentally what's going on, he has no business being in most leverage situations, period. And
That's
I know
where the
you
Astros are.
Eric, you still I'm sorry. He needs a phantom injury, okay? He needs to be on the IL because this is more the Montero.
Oh.
Look at his career. Well, look at his career. Outside of last year, his career, he averaged like a 5.41 ERA, I believe, for his career. And this is more of Montero. Eric, he has the worst ERA of all relief pitchers in baseball. He's the 5th highest paid reliever in Major League Baseball. And so at the end of the day, the dude goes on the IL. Goes on the IL. Well, you know what? He requires a rehab start. Let him work with the minor league coaches in the PCL league. That is a hitter league. That is a hitter's league, right? What is that?
Suckitis.
Like,
Suckitis.
be careful with your No,
did.
Look, he's more. I think he's more this guy than he was last year. I think who we saw last year was an anomaly. And I hate to say that about Montero because I was a real big fan of what he was doing. I was really happy because Mariners fans kept telling us over and over, oh, he sucks, he's terrible, why'd you get him? And I'm like, look, we fixed him. No, we didn't fix him.
Right.
But there's got to be something done. Dana has got to start talking to Dusty about his lineup construction. Like DH Altuve, put Dubon at second. Catch Diaz. Maldonado has no business hitting right now. And why are you throwing the ball to Will Smith with Montero? Will Smith is hitting the cover off the ball. Right. He should not be the guy facing him. I know they're kind of in a conundrum at times, but Dusty also put them there with the way he puts guys out. He's ultra loyal. And look, if you guys want a great place to eat and hang out with the world famous Hooters girls, then I would say go to Hooters. Hooters makes you happy. I want you to know that coming up pretty soon here at the Webster Hooters, they have a ditch day bus trip Thursday the 24th versus the Red Sox. Basically, they're going to section 133. The store opens an hour early that day. They feed you before you leave. And then when you get back, the best part is you get to ditch work and hang out with the world famous Hooters girls. So go check that out. Stop by the Hooters NASA to get your tickets. They will go quick. Also, they have a basketball tournament, 3-on-3 basketball tournament you can go sign up for at the Pearland Hooters 3-on-3 basketball tournament on the 23rd, I believe, or 24th, same month. So look, there are several events going on, whether you're in Galveston, Pearland, Katy, Stafford, Webster. I mean, no matter where you are in city Houston, you can find a Houston area Hooters. On Mondays, they have buy one, get one wings. On Wednesdays, they have buy one, get one boneless wings. They just got specials all week. Every day they have Blue Moons, that are $9.99, and you get great service, you get great food, and the world famous Hooters girls there are there to make you happy. So go check out your local area Hooters, and just know that the Locked On Astros guys sent you, and tell them that we are your team every day. Check them out today. The Astros play the Cardinals Tuesday night, 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
All right, I did see Michael Schwab tweet this out, and this is basically what I was thinking the whole time too. There's 4 options. You either write it out, you put him on and hope he gets better. You go ahead and put him on the 15-day IL for a phantom injury. That's what you've been talking about. You trade him and eat most of the contract. I mean, the team that takes him has to take on some of the contract, and don't expect any type of prospect or anything. It's just going to be a salary dump. Or 4, DFA him and eat the entire contract. So he's going to be making $11.5 million for the next 2 years. So that's what, $23 million for the next 2 years, not including the prorated $11.5 million this year. I just don't see Jim Crane doing that. I mean, that's a lot of money, and
that is a lot of money.
That's admitting a big mistake. And
Eric, I'll tell you this. There are 3 offseason signings, Brantley, Montero, and Abreu. At this point, of those 3 players, who has the highest WAR?
Who?
Michael Brantley. His WAR is 0. The other 2 players, Abreu and Montero, have negative WARs right now.
Yeah.
Even as well as Abreu's been doing, he's still at a negative WAR rating. Okay. So here's my question to you. You have to keep someone for 2 years, DFA them right now, or let them go at the end of the year. Your 3 people are Montero, Maldonado, and Baker. Who are you DFAing right now? Who are you letting go at the end of the year? And who are you keeping for 2 years?
Probably none of them.
No. You got to put them in a slot, dude. Don't bail on me. Come on, this is easy. You want me to tell you what I would do?
Okay.
You keep Maldonado for 2 years. Why? Because after this year, he's going to be a bench coach because Joe Espada is going to take over. You let Dusty walk at the end of the season. You don't bring him back, and you DFA Montero. And you just realize this is one of the worst contracts in the history of the Astros, and we're just going to eat our crow. He's like a super Pedro Baez. And that to me is an easy call. Keep Maldonado for 2 years, but put him on the bench and help Joe Espada.
Yeah, but I need y'all to understand one more time that you cannot just send Montero down to AAA. You have to put him on IL for something, and I think there's something where he can willingly go down to AAA, but I don't think that a Major League Baseball player would be willing to do that.
Yeah, he's completely out of options.
Speaking of which, Drew Gilbert, despite his struggles, he has been selected to the Futures game, and so that's awesome. And he talked about how part of his struggles is that he's always had success, and part of the success is the energy he plays with. And so they just felt like he was trying to maybe calm down a little bit and kind of not necessarily play. He just felt like they were trying to encourage him to continue being who he is. It's just like when George Springer kept on running into walls when he came up to the Astros. AJ Hinch told some of us bloggers when we did a bloggers roundtable, he said, it's not about telling him not to run into the wall. It's trying to teach him how to run into the wall. And so it's like trying to teach him how to play with that energy. And that's basically what the Astros are telling him. And so, but he said that basically that to be honest with you, he's learning how to fail for the first time in his life, and he's always had success, and now he's dealing with it now. So it's better to deal with it now versus later. And so it's so I think we'll have to talk more about Drew Gilbert tomorrow, but he's just he's funny, he's hilarious, and he plays with a lot of passion, which is what led to him succeeding so well. But also the elbow took him out of the outfield, and most hitters like to be playing a defensive position.
Right.
So he was playing DH a lot. And so that's why his stats went downhill a little bit too.
Yeah, and just, I'll wrap it up with this. I remember when I saw Drew Gilbert at spring training, I told him I can't wait to see his bat flips, and his immediate response was, "Well, I've got to hit the home runs first." And so I think the kid's got a great head on his shoulders, Eric.
Right.
You know, it'll be great to see him in the futures game. It's a big stage. I think you'll see him next year, 2024, definitely midseason call up. And if he gets in soon enough, maybe he makes a run for Rookie of the Year next year. But the Astros, look, guys, all hope is not lost. We're going to St. Louis, 3 winnable games. I think this is the winnable series.
Spencer Arrighetti, don't forget about that.
Spencer Arrighetti. Oh, sorry. Spencer Arrighetti just got called up. He was killing it in Double-A Corpus, Eric. He was 7-2 down there.
4.15 ERA, I think.
Yeah, but in 60 innings pitched, I believe he had 72 strikeouts.
Right.
A whip of it's like 1.07, something like that. He is every bit of what they expect him to be and more. So, you know, make sure that you get out to Sugarland Wednesday. Hey, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to watch his debut in Sugarland because he's pitching Wednesday night for the Space Cowboys. His last time he pitched was the 22nd, so it lines up perfectly with him going to the mound on Wednesday. Since they're off today, they will be there Tuesday. If you listen on Tuesday, Wednesday night, Arrighetti will be taking the mound, so that'll be exciting to see.
Yes, and we did give an update on a lot of the players after yesterday's show. I know a lot of people have been asking about it, but Altuve is day-to-day right now. He bruised his heel yesterday on, I think it was Saturday, after hitting the base wrong, and so he's day-to-day, so that's why he was out on Sunday. And Alvarez has been taking a little bit of batting practice, running on the field a little bit. So they're expecting him back maybe sometime after an All-Star break. And Brantley, I think they're probably expecting him sometime around the All-Star break as well. And Urquidy threw 24 pitches the other day. And so he's moving along a little bit slower than they thought, but I think they're planning on having him back sometime around the All-Star break as well. So the Astros could get a lot healthier, and then that's when they have to decide what they're going to do at the trade deadline. We don't have time to talk about that on today's show, but don't forget that the Astros play the Cardinals Tuesday night, 6:45 Central Standard Time. If you can't watch it and just watch everything that's the history between Astros and Cardinals, go and catch hometown broadcasts with Sparks and Ford on Sirius XM. Just download the SXM app and search Astros, and it should be a great series. I'm excited about it. And guys, once again, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter, Eric Talks Astros. You can find Brett at H-Town Wellhouse, and you can find the show at Locked On Astros. We will see you tomorrow, hopefully after a Astros victory. Go Astros. You got a comment?
Hey, I better.
Around, man.
Wow.
Trying to shut you up.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Asked me to talk and then mute me.